you about Pirelli, a natural training, and how animals think. Because I love animals and was always intrigued by their differences, predator and prey, wild and domestic. As my title says, I will also be telling you a little bit about Pirelli, a form of natural training for people to better understand and communicate with their horse, through equine behaviors, achieving trust and respect for the horse-human relationship. Since there are so many animals on this planet, I focused my attention on the dog and the horse, once it descended from the wolf and the Mustang. From birth on, there exists a big difference between predator and prey. One, for instance, is that prey has eyes on the side of their head called binocular vision. This prevents them from working together, so they have no distance or depth perception, which predator does, so they can focus in and on a moving or still object. Another difference is their teeth. Preys are flat and very strong, intended to grind leaves and grain, and predators sharp and fierce for meat and flesh. There's also how they were brought up. Prey, like the Mustang, when born, must instantly be attuned to the outside world. When they're born, they must get up in the first 20 to 40 minutes of birth. No spa days for them. In contrast, the predator like us, gets to lollygag around, being spoiled rotten until 8th grade, where we have this huge A man called Pirelli studied the behaviors of the horse, become more connected to their mindset of these. He created the 7 games, which let the horse become accustomed to the touch by a human and trust them in a natural way without any artificial restraint like a bit in a saddle. What I'm going to show you now is part of Pirelli. It's called Liberty, where Ben and I, my horse, will be following me without any restraint, so he could bolt and run if he wants, but he doesn't because horses love the connection like a herd. I taught him lots of tricks like the smile, how to give a hand, to give a hug, and how to count with his feet. And so that's the smile. What we begin with is just rhythm. So to make sure that he's attuned to everything I'm doing. So if you watch us, our feet are the same. There's like left, right, and then I slow down. He has to slow down too. And we'll speed up, and it just makes sure that he's paying attention to me, which that's what Pirelli is. As you can see, he's still following me, even though there's no restraint. He's just copying all my movements. But he's also very well trained, so he's making me look good. You always have to take the leash off, so I just walked, and now we're going to go through pressure. He just went sideways because I pushed against his bubble, and he can't touch my bubble, so he had to go sideways. See here, I'm lengthening, but started getting short. I'm lengthening again. It's like, what the heck, Sanya? Why would you do a circle? You see how he's dropping his head? That means he's relaxed and mellow.
And a canter?
Yeah, that's a canter. And I'm cantering too. I mean, can do. Canter and gallop. So whenever we're on the trail, we gallop way in front of the other horses, and I'm like, no, ho, man. She's like, no, yes.
You don't really use the lip box, do you?
Oh, I have. If he runs away, then I chase him and say, come back here, Ben. You have to make us look good. Come on. And it's actually quite exhausting because I have to run, and this is only 5 minutes of it, but actually I've taken 56 minutes and I'm running the whole time. So sometimes when I was trying to talk, I was What are you doing here? That's just cantering in a circle. And that's leg yielding a little, going through the middle of the arena. And this is bridleless bareback, so there's only the savvy string for part of it because I do drop to trot lead changes, and I just want to see how we just did a drop to trot lead change where we go to trot and then you switch the lead, so we went from left to right. You've got strong legs. Thanks. Everybody says he's bouncy, but I'm like, no, he's not bouncy. Joanne. Oh no, she says he's a pogo stick.
Yes, she does.
Who's broken for writing? Did you break him for writing?
No, Joanne did. He's actually 17 years old, and Joanne Hall, my trainer, or friend, trained him since he was 4, I think. And so she trained him. I know it's a huge overjump. I was like, whoa, geez. So you always have to set up his stride, but I didn't do the best job.
How long have you been riding?
I've been riding for 5 years with Joanne, but my aunt has a ranch, and I was ponied and stuff like that since I was little. And here I wasn't sure what I was doing, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna fly, and I'm gonna put my hands back down. I'm gonna. And then I didn't remember that the tarp was there, even though he didn't swoop, so I was like, oh! That was actually an accident because he was licking his lips because he was eating a treat. I was like, oh, I'm going to make us look good. And I trained him to do this. So I took out my teeth and we took lots of pictures at a time. I was like, oh, yay, we got it. Joanne for always helping me through everything, and Sylvie and Sophie who took all the pictures on my poster board where you can see more of the tricks and stuff I do with him. And yeah, are there any questions?
Is it really tiring to ride barefoot?
It was in the beginning, but now actually I think it's more tiring in the saddle because I don't like it. I like bareback.
What is the bubble?
Well, it's just a space bubble. So like you can imagine that they can't come into your space. Like, would you like it if I came over to you and just started bumping you? And that's just a bubble that you want to stay out of. And you can come to the bubble if you want, like if you allow it, but you have to allow it because it's like, oh, it's dominance. So, yeah.
How do you show that you're allowing it?
Well, you just release pressure, and you just release it, and you can, drop the carrot stick, which was the stick with the string, and then you could just start petting him, and he loves his belly being scratched. I didn't get on tape, but he'll actually make these funny faces, and he'll lift his lip, and he'll start nodding, and and yeah, so.
Does your horse have stereoscopic vision, or is his eyes out to the side?
They're actually on his side, so they're like this, and so he can't see right in front of him, and that's why horses don't like it usually if you touch their forehead, because they can't see it, so they actually it takes a lot of trust, and they need to know the person to make sure, to know that you won't hurt them, so they can see out here. And we were in the ocean, and because watch out, you have to beat his eyes for where he steps, because they don't have any depth perception, as I said. And so I had to watch out where he was stepping, because he was trusting just me that I was going to take care of him and keep him safe. And
How does he make the jumps then if he can't perceive it?
I think they can see it.
They have to turn their head?
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, they're just that awesome. They have their superpowers. They're pretty magical. Yeah, there's a poem on it that says, there's something about the outside of a horse that's good for an inside of a man. That's pretty true. More questions? Or?
How long does it take for him to start trusting you?
I have to say last year, because that's really when we started like making a real connection, because that's when I really started doing liberty and all the groundwork. I used to just get him out, say hi, brush him, get on. And that's usually what happens when people just start riding. They just want to get on the horse. Get on, I want to ride. And then now, whenever I call him, he comes out. And actually the other day, I called his name, and he came bursting out of the back, and he was nickering, and he came extended trotting out to me. I was like, oh, that just makes you feel so good. It makes your day.